Next up, let's go to the receivers. So this surprised me who led the team in receiving did, but when we get to the receptions, it surprised me who did. Matthew Golden had 9 touchdowns last year for Texas. Do you expect anyone to equal or eclipse that number?
I think I'm going no again. I think there's just going to be so many balls spread out across the wide receivers. I just don't see somebody having that dominant share of receiving touchdowns. Now, that being said, I went back and rewatched the Mississippi State game this year, and Arch and DeAndre Moore had a little thing going. So if that relationship continues and DeAndre Moore has a touchdown and a half that's long per game, then ultimately he's going to go over that number. So, I'm going to go no, because I do think that there's just going to be so many guys involved in the game. But I do think, again, I really like DeAndre Moore. I think he could be the best wide receiver in the SEC when it's all said and done this year. Obviously there's that guy in Tuscaloosa we won't talk about, but I think DeAndre Moore has a chance to be a really, really elite, like all conference kind of wide receiver.
No, I don't disagree. I think there's 2 guys you can make the case for, and I'm going to make the case for the other guy. I'm going to say yes. I think Ryan Wingo is going to get 10-plus touchdown receptions this year. I think he's going to be a force this year, guys. I just believe everything that I saw on the field in a limited sample size. He's way quicker than you think, so he's going to be able to, versus average and bad football teams, those 5-yard slants are going to be able to go for touchdowns because he's going to have more opportunities, or those screens that Sark loves to throw. And then he's able in the red zone to probably separate and get up and catch a football that when you absolutely need him to go get it in the air. I think he's going to be able to do that. So I think he's going to be versatile in the way he can score. And that's the reason I think he's going to have 10-plus touchdowns. I really, really like him. There was, a top 5 list of the SEC wide receivers. He wasn't on there. I said, that's ridiculous. I had people call me a moron. From other fan bases. They said I forget his name, Rayland Sharp, I believe his name, at Arkansas was better, and I just laughed at that. So we'll throw those up there when they're wrong. And Ryan Wingo has a really big year this year, because I think you're going to get 700-800 receiving yards from him, and I think you're going to get 10-plus touchdowns. I think you're going to get a lot of production from Ryan Wingo.
I think it's fair. He is an elite talent. He's bigger. Like the combination of size and speed that kid has should not exist in one person.
No, I just expect a really big year. I think he's going to actually have a pretty big game versus Ohio State as well. It wouldn't shock me if he comes out of the gate really hot. Next up, Gunnar Helm led the team in catches with 60, which kind of surprised me because I know I have a man crush on Jack Hendries. So we'll see if I go with yes or not here. But who do you think leads the team in receptions this year? And then do you think they're over that 60 number?
I think I'm going to go with the same justification after touchdowns and say no. I think there's just going to be so many targets, so many options. Wingo, Moore, you've got Endries, you'll have Emmett, Mosley, you'll have there's so many options, I think, in this scheme. And I think also they're going to probably pass the ball to the running back some. So ultimately, I think 60, I wouldn't be shocked if it's like a 55-ish or 54-ish, something close, but not quite there. So no, I don't think Texas hits 60, but I do think it's probably a wide receiver this year. Again, you and I will go back and forth on whether or not it's Ryan Wingo or DeAndre Moore. Again, the connection that Arch and Moore had in that Mississippi State game, it just looked like they were sharing a brain when I rewatched those highlights. So ultimately, whoever it's going to be, I'm taking my flag in Moore. I got, dance with the one that brung you, to quote the great coach, Darrell K. Royal. So that's what I'm going to go with there. I think not quite 60, but I do think DeAndre Moore might be the man.
No, I agree. I think it's going to be between 50 and 60, and I think it's either going to be DeAndre Moore or Jack Hendries. I think Jack Hendries is going to be the safety blanket, just like most tight ends for Arch Manning. I think the difference is he's more athletic than Gunnar Helm, so he's going to be able to break some tackles, get more yardage after the catch. Well, I think he ends up with more yards than Gunnar Helm. And then DeAndre Moore is just really good at getting open on third downs. We've seen that throughout his career at Texas, and I think he'll bring a little bit more to the Texas offense this year. So those would be the 2 guys I see leading the team in receiving. I don't know who it's going to be, but I completely agree. I think it's going to be between 50 to 60 catches for whoever does it.
Love it.